Hey guys, what is up? Today I am going to show you how to get more life out of your fog machine, meaning fluid wise, since most fog machines only hold about 12 to 16 ounces of fog fluid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get half a gallon worth of fog fluid into your fog machine for around $12 to $15, depending on where you go. And I'm going to show you step by step how to rig up a platform for your fog machine, set up your timer, and to add this extra reservoir so you can hold up to half a gallon of fog solution. So we're going to show you that right now. Alright guys, we are back. I had to dig some of my fog machines out of the casket. That's where I like to keep a lot of our Halloween stuff. They make great storage. If you have one, I highly recommend it. A little more expensive than Tupperware, but they do the job. So first thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna build one of these. This is just your pretty much standard, cheap Amazon or eBay fog machine with the timer. And then what we're going to be adding is one of these. This is a radiator overflow tank. It's a universal tank like this. You can buy these online, or you could get these at your local auto parts store. I think I spent $12 on this one from Napa. The only problem is it does have a spout on the bottom, and that's where this would hook up to the overflow on top of your radiator. So what I had to do is I took a torch to that and I just pretty much singed that off right here and sealed it and put some water in there to make sure it didn't leak. And it does have a tab on the side, which I did have to melt and bend. So all you're pretty much going to do is disconnect your hose from your original reservoir, which on this one, this is the American DJ from Walmart. It has a burned up pump. It lasted about 2 years and then the pump finally went out. So I'll use this as a demonstration. So this hose would go down inside of here with a inline filter, which we have right here. You always want to make sure you run a filter on your fog machines because that keeps the debris, if you happen to get any dirt or anything, that keeps that from getting inside the machine into the pump. So you could actually buy these from your small engine repair shop. They use them in weed eaters, chainsaws, just small engines. And you could also use that small little fuel filter. So pretty much what you're gonna do is get you a piece of plywood. Now every machine's different. You see how big this one is. This is like 1,000 watt. This is a 400 watt. It's a 400 watt and a 400 watt. So what I like to do is kind of mock you up a little template of what you're gonna do. So you're gonna set your tank on there, and you wanna keep this as close to that as possible because you do have to run that hose down inside of there. So what I like to do is I run the hose in, and then I pull the hose out through here. And then that's when I add my filter. So let me go ahead and set you up on a stand real quick, and I'm gonna show you how to rig this up. So anyways, after you get you want to kind of measure the size of hole that you're going to need to drill into this. You could either drill it into the side, or like how I did on this other one, I drilled right through the cap. Let me go ahead and find that other one. So it just depends on how long of a hose you do have. Some machines come with a really, really long hose, just enough to reach. Some of them come with a really long hose and it's all pushed down inside of here. So sometimes if you take your machine apart, you can kind of see how it's ran. And you could always unhook that hose, and you can get this at any kind of small engine repair shop. They use it for fuel line, or you could actually go to like a PetSmart or any kind of pet store and get the line that they use for your bubble system for your aquarium. So on this one, the hose was a little short. So what I did, I just drilled a hole in the side. And then what I'm going to do is pull this out. And then all you do is insert this little filter. You can put a zip tie on here, and that'll keep that filter intact. Most of the time, just wedging it on there is good enough. And that'll actually add weight to the bottom. So it's actually just going to suck from the bottom. And then you got your cap. So yeah, this holds about half a gallon. And I get tired of having to go back every night and refill these. And I like to leave them clear because you could actually see the level of the fluid. Like this one right here, that solution's been in there since last year. It probably needs to be changed out. Yes, I know a lot of people like to flush theirs out after, after a month of using them. We use ours every single night for 31 days straight. And I have mine set to go off about every 15, or it goes off for 15 seconds about every minute or minute and a half, depending on what kind of timer you have. Some of them, they're set for 3-minute intervals. Some of them are set to 1:20. This one, you can set it for 30 seconds all the way up to 1:20. I think I max it out at 1:20. So it's actually 2 minutes, I'm sorry. It's 120 seconds, so it's every 2 minutes it goes off. And then I have that go for about 15 seconds. And that's enough to let your machine warm back up, because if you blow a lot of fluid through it, it's gonna take longer to heat back up because the heating element is very, very small. So the more expensive the machine, the better quality and the longer they're gonna last. These were all off of Amazon, eBay. We had one from the Spirit store. It lasted 1 year and it burned up, but we use these hard. I mean, from about 7 o'clock at night to about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, they are constantly going and going and going and going. And I just got so tired of having to go around and fill these up all the time, I came up with this idea. So these cost about $12. I got these at Napa. I'll try to throw the description and part number in the video so you could find these. So let's get set up here. This is the wood base. Of course, I just spray painted it flat black, kind of camouflaged it. You could put some garland or some vines or something to kind of camouflage this, but I like to, visibly be able to see how much fluid is in it. And I go around with a flashlight and I check them all before we start out the night. And if they get down, about halfway or there's a quarter of it left, I'm gonna go ahead and top it up, to the brim. And don't get it too high where you drilled your hole or it's gonna spill out. Then you just take some plain Jane plumbing strapping. And what I like to do is just put this on there. And I'm just gonna take a drill and a good hefty Phillips screw with a big flat washer on there. And then I just screw that right down. And that's pretty much it. And then you can use this as a handle. So I already had it screwed down here, and I just added the screw here. And then all you need to do next is to plug in your timer. I get these ones on, you could get these on eBay. I've seen them at Home Depot, and I've seen them at Lowe's. These are the old school ones that use like the old TV cord or computer power source cord, you could actually use those cords if you want to make an extension. If you want to trigger the fog machine manually, I like to have mine set on auto to where I could just set it, walk away, and not have to worry about messing with it. So like I said, set it for 120 seconds, and depending on what kind of machine, if it's a good one or a cheap one, if it's a good one, you could set it at 30 seconds and it will blow consistently. If you got 1,000 watt, 15 watt, 2,000 watt, professional grade fog machine, these are just cheap, you know, $40 or $50 fog machines. They're gonna last about a year. The pumps are gonna go out. Then you gotta buy new pumps, which you could buy on Amazon for 10 or 12 bucks and have it replaced in a few minutes. I've done them so many times. The heating element usually stays good, but the pumps always go out. I don't know what the deal is. I've heard people say, oh, mine have lasted 5 or 10 years. Well, yeah, you probably went out and spent $300 on a fog machine. These are $50 machines, and if I could get one year out of them or 2 years, I'll spend $10 or $12 and buy a pump off of Amazon. Just make sure you got the right wattage and the right fittings that go on there. I used to have a box full of pumps and parts, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna throw all this stuff away and just start fresh, and I'm gonna wind up buying some new fog machines. So these timers are really nice. You don't want them to sit out in the rain. So I'll put a Ziploc bag over it and then zip tie it. And on the bottom of this is got a magnet, and that magnet, it'll just sit right on the machine. So I'll have this plugged in. And I got the cord zip tied. Sometimes I zip tie it all together, but this one it's for demonstration purposes. Regular 3-way prong. And then you can put this wherever you want. On our witch with the cauldron, I'll actually run a piece of PVC pipe. I cut a hole in the bottom of the cauldron, and I'll run this with a PVC pipe into the cauldron. It's all spray painted flat black. So this will go off, you know, every 2 minutes for about 15 seconds, and then it really lets all that fog come out of the cauldron. And then the cauldron's hooked up to the motion sensor, which I showed you guys how to build on one of the last videos. An easy, you know, 20-25 bucks to build it when you include paint, and if you're using solder, or if you're using butt connectors or wire nuts. This one cost me I'd say about 25 bucks. About 15 for the light, about $3 or $4 for the cord. I had the wood laying around, so, and then the paint is always expensive. And I think I just dusted it over with that 3 times or 2 times coverage paint, and because I had to paint the motion sensor because it was gray, so I taped that off. Paint the whole thing black. Use a brown cord. I know you could buy these for about $1 at Walmart, but I was at the hardware store and they're a little bit more expensive. So I'll have that hooked to the witch's cauldron. That'll get motion activated whenever a car drives by or somebody walks by. She'll start stirring the cauldron. The spotlight will come on, and then the fog machine will always be on a constant. So anything that's on a constant, run you a little cheap power strip. This one I'd probably spend about $5 on. I've probably had it 10 years. Just spray painted it black, and so I'll have the fog machine on the constant. I'll have the motion sensor on this, and then if I got any other kind of lighting or any kind of other stuff I want to stay on a constant, I'll plug those into the rest. So I have plenty to work with there. So there you go, guys. It's a quick video. Like I said, I'm gonna try to put the link and a picture of where to find these. You could probably go on Amazon and look up universal radiator overflow tank. And that's just a simple way to get out of using this, because this doesn't hold a lot. I'll burn through that in 20 minutes. This will last you probably 3 or 4 hours, depending on the duration on your machine. Now, if you got it set to go off for 30 seconds straight, it's gonna go down a lot faster. But if you want to keep it kind of at a midway point, do it about 15 seconds. the fluid's going to last all night. And like I said, we use these every single night, 31 days straight in October. And from about 7 o'clock to when it gets dark to roughly 10, 11, 12 o'clock, depending on what day of the week it is and how busy our traffic is, because we do have a lot of people that come through. So quick and easy way. This strapping is only a couple bucks at your hardware store. If you got any scrap plywood laying around, you don't have to build it on plywood. You could use whatever you want. I just had some laying around. I think this is 3/4 inch. When we made our columns, I had some extra. So I use those, screw them down, couple of screws. You use drywall screws, throw a washer on that because it's got different size holes. So throw a washer on it. If you want to spray paint the strap black, if you want to paint this black, that's all up to you. But I like to be able to see how much fluid. So I go around at night, hit it with a flashlight, see how much fluid I got. If I got fluid, I leave it alone. I go to the next one. We have 4 fog machines set up. So I'm out there with my flashlight. I'm checking all the machines. So anyways, that's how you do it. Like, subscribe, comment, leave me any good feedback. Appreciate you guys, and hopefully this helps y'all. See ya.